So my name is Lynn Paterson, and I'm really pleased to be here today. It's the first time I've presented anything on Tantra massage in Dublin in a talk. I've been doing Tantra massage sessions and training and things like that for a while now. A couple of little workshops as well in Dublin. But this is the first time I've done a talk, so forgive me if I don't get everything in that I want to get in. Tantra massage is a huge subject, and I'm only going to really be able to just touch on it today. So I'm originally from Scotland. Well, I lived there since 1973, and I moved to West Cork in Ireland about a year and a half ago. And from there I offer the Tantra massage, we do tantric classes, I do professional training for people who are interested in learning Tantra massage. I also work with couples who are interested in learning Tantra massage as a way of really promoting intimacy and just getting in touch with perhaps things that they've lost over the years of being together. So today though, I want to cover different aspects of Tantra massage from the point of view of what's it about, who does it benefit, if you're in a relationship, how can that help, and also any therapists here are interested in knowing more about it or training. I'd love to talk to you a bit later, or get in touch with me if you would, because I'm really interested in setting up training for the Dublin area. So, what is Tantra massage, first of all? Has anyone had a Tantra massage here? Anyone brave enough to put up their hand and say, I've had a Tantra massage? Yeah? And you have? Yeah? Okay, first of all, it's a really scary thing. Most people who come to me for Tantra massage, the thing that they all have in common is they are shit scared. I mean, they really are really scared. So it's quite normal to be nervous about having a Tantra massage, because it's not the normal way in which you interact with somebody in society. And even couples quite often do not have the level of intimacy that goes on in a Tantra massage. So it really does speak to the depths of our sexual issues and our spiritual issues as well. For me personally, it's been a journey of integrating sexuality and spirituality. And those things seem to be poles apart. And in fact, that's my experience with a lot of people, is that how can you be spiritual and sexual, or how can you be sexual and make it a little bit more spiritual? So, well, that's the whole question of life, really. How can you be human and divine at the same time, you know? So, what is it? It's essentially a series of rituals, of tantric rituals, that involve conscious touch. It is a sexual massage because it does involve genital touch, but the goal of it is very different to what you would normally consider the goal of sexuality, which for most people tends to be rushing towards orgasm and for men, ejaculation as well. And so we tend to miss out on what we really are coming together for sexuality, and that is the intimacy and the sacredness and the ability to fill up ourselves with the essence of who we are, which is love, or pleasure, or peace, whichever way you want to look at it. It's spiritual energy, it's sexual energy. At the core of it, there's no difference between the two of those. So in Tantra massage, what you have is an opportunity to learn how to fully receive, if you're the person receiving it, or learn how to fully give, if you're the person giving it. And in that, we have to let go of all of our expectations on what it means to be a sexual being or a spiritual being. We have to let go of all of that. We have to let go of the challenges, if we can, of allowing another person to see us at our most vulnerable time. And a lot of us have got a lot of sexual issues going on in society. I'm sure you'll understand that there's been a lot of repression over our sexuality, and in fact over the spirituality as well. And so Tantra massage can help you get through any issues that you have on sexual healing. I call my Tantra One Heart Tantra, and that's because to me you can't have peace without being in the heart. You can't have true sexual connection or spiritual connection unless you're coming from the heart. Come in. Squeeze in. There's still space up here if you want to. No, okay. Sorry, I'll stand still, shall I? So, Tantra massage is really, as I said, essentially a set of rituals that works with conscious touch. It works with getting into your breathing. It works with setting intentions on what it is, how you want to connect with another person. And it really works to the core of taking responsibility for your sexual pleasure. In Tantra massage, when you're learning to give and learning to receive fully, you can't really project your own sexual stuff onto somebody else without it being very obvious. Okay? It's very, very obvious when you're in that space that, oh, am I receiving the pleasure that I really want to do, or am I now starting to distract myself because I'm starting to feel vulnerable? So even with a little bit of instruction and tuition, couples or individuals can get into Tantra massage fairly quickly, and then it's not as if, okay, now I know everything. That's the beginning. That's the beginning. And the journey takes you through your stuff, and it brings up a lot of your issues. Believe me, it brings up a lot of issues. It brought up a huge amount of issues for me when I went to my first Tantra massage workshop, which was in 2007, I think. I had to persuade Isaac, my partner, to come with me because I was so scared. I thought everybody in this Tantra massage weekend workshop was going to be younger, slimmer, prettier, more knowledgeable, and a lot more comfortable with themselves than I am. And really, honestly, I couldn't have been further from the truth. I was so scared at that weekend that when the teacher gave us a demonstration and said, we've got his wife to come in, and she just pranced in the room like this. She was wearing a little sarong and he said, would you mind if I just undo your sarong? She said, oh no, there's about 8 of us there. So he undid the sarong, dropped, and she was naked, and and she was normal and happy and comfortable, and I thought, that's how I want to be in my body. I don't want to feel ashamed and uncomfortable about being who I am. And I used to go topless on the beach. It wasn't an issue for me. I used to get into ladies' changing rooms and strip off and everything. But it's different when you get older, by the way. It's a lot different when you start to get older. And it's also different when you're being very intimate with somebody. It's very, very different because, as they say, you can be without your clothes, but you're not truly naked. And to be truly naked or nude, with no masks and no covers in front of you when you're talking to somebody that you don't even know, that's different. That's very, very different. So when Maria, my teacher, had that sarong just drop off like that, she was so comfortable, she laid out on the floor, and then we were invited to go and touch her. She's like, fortunately she was lying on her front, so I didn't need to look at the booby bits or the, these bits down there, and she was lying on her back, and she's like purring like a cat, And so we went up, and it was my turn eventually. We went up, and my hand was like shaking like this, and it was like, oh my God, I just can't touch her. And it was just my hand, which was sweating profusely, and her bare skin. And every time I sort of touched like that, it was like, and I just, oh my God, this is horrible. So I whispered to her part of the way through, and I said, look, I'm really, really nervous about this. She said, it's okay, Lynn. It's okay, don't worry. Just breathe, and it's okay. And that was it. It was like I'd fallen in love with Maria, and I thought, that's it. That's who I'm going to go for my teaching. And sure enough, I ended up going back to Spain for the teaching. So, back to the series of rituals on Tantra massage. Someone say something?
I sneeze.
So what I love about it is that you can take all of these separate rituals. There's a breathing ritual that you can do to really help you start to breathe into the belly. There's an eye-gazing ritual that is just beautiful because it really, you can't hide in an eye-gazing ritual. It really is about seeing into the other person. And if you can look into the eyes of somebody else and not cover up, and allow just that feeling of squirminess to come up, which it inevitably will do, and not look away and not close your eyes, you're really totally being present with that. Totally being present. And from there I would, another of the rituals would be the honouring ritual. And all of these rituals can be used individually. And the honouring ritual is really a way of worshipping the other person. And this was something I had a big issue with as well. It's like the idea of worshipping somebody else is like, excuse me. You know, that doesn't sound like me at all, being quite sort of feminist in mind. Honouring a man, because at that day it was all, for me it was all about men. It wasn't really about women. And it was like the idea of honouring a man was, excuse me, no, I'd feel like a whore or a prostitute or something like that. But when I got into it, I was totally amazed. I mean, I was absolutely totally amazed, because when you're really in yourself and you're touching somebody else and you're not trying to give them something and you're not trying to take anything from them, it's not just magic that happens. It's that you are taken into a place that is indescribably beautiful. It's indescribably beautiful. And it still takes my breath away when I stand behind somebody and I do the honouring ritual with them. It still brings up this huge, profound feeling that just takes me into another space. And these rituals can be used individually, or they can just be sort of added on as modalities. So the actual Tantra massage, what is it? Because people have a lot of questions about it. I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of misunderstandings about what Tantra massage is. You know, does it include a happy ending? And yes, practically everyone goes back happy. You know, really, they do. But it's not about driving towards orgasm. It's not. Orgasms are very welcome, but they're not essential. Okay, and it usually works best if ejaculation is withheld, but sometimes that happens too. Welcome. So the actual massage, I'll just describe a little bit about the massage as well. And I like to use warm oil, which is lovely, and it helps awaken the senses. So Tantra massage is not so much about what you're doing, it's about how you're doing it. It's about being completely conscious in your touch, and how does it feel in your hand when you're touching another person. You know, how present can you be with that? How much of yourself are you going to bring into that moment when you're touching them? You know, how centered can you be? So the actual techniques can be very simple. It usually involves just very light touch and very smooth, long strokes, a bit like Lomi Lomi, if anyone's heard that. But it's also about breath work. It's also about learning how to breathe and slow down. It's about learning how to move the sexual energy around the body. And it's about accepting what is going on in the moment without trying to change it. And through learning a bit of Tantra massage, if you're learning with a friend or if you're a couple, you can practice it, and it will take you further and further and further into intimacy. Okay? Because when you're lying there and you are being touched by your beloved, or you're giving the Tantra massage if you're a therapist, then all friends can do it as well. What happens is that you can drop into a beautiful state of relaxation. And if you don't, you have to take care of that yourself. You can't keep projecting that onto other people when you're being touched. And so you can start to open gently. And as you learn how to trust a little bit,